Why does this have to be so complicated? Oh, we're only 3 minutes late. It's not that big a deal. Built in. Okay. All right. Now I'm ready. And that's in the wrong spot again. Okay. I'm going to record and start.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jim Raffle with Color Metrics, and we are going to get started with our Color Conversations episode number 3, How Color Association Drives Sales. Jump right in here. I am Jim Raffle, and I'm the picture on the left here. I serve as the CEO and Chief Color Officer of Color Metrics. And joining me today is Shelby Sapusik, our project manager. Why don't you say hello, Shelby?
Hi there. How is everybody? That's enough.
All right. Well, I'll tell them a little bit about your picture. So she's looking at a newspaper, and that's because Shelby came to Color Metrics just a little over 4 years ago, after 17 years in the newspaper industry. So she's got a lot of print knowledge for you, those of you who don't know who she is yet, and design knowledge and all kinds of color knowledge now too. And I have a degree from RIT in printing management, and the picture I'm in, I think we are actually doing a webinar, and I love being surrounded by color and spectrophotometers and things like that. And that's why we do these webinars. All right, so what is Color Conversations? Each month we have been posting an article to our blog, and it's typically about color, as you might expect. And then at the end of the month, we're holding these webinars to discuss the topic. So these aren't really, slide deck presentations where we just go through a bunch of slide decks and talk about the slides. It's really more of a kind of a talk show format, for lack of a better way to describe it. And we have a few slides that we will throw up to stimulate conversation both between ourselves, and we'd like to get you guys involved. So the way you do that is over in your GoToWebinar control panel, there is an area called questions, and I need to open mine up here actually. And if you click on that little arrow, it will pop down and you can type in your questions and we will see them. And the ones that are appropriate we'll share with the group and we'll answer, and the ones that maybe require one-on-one answers we'll either type an answer back to you or email you an answer after the webinar. And to answer the first question there from my friend Earl, yes, we are recording this. I sure hope we are. We do sometimes have problems with the recordings, just to let you know, Earl. As long as we don't, the recording will be posted to our YouTube channel within a few days. So we will be asking today a 3 poll questions I think we've set up, which those of you who've joined us for previous Color Conversations webinars, we did not have poll questions the last couple months, and we came up with a few yesterday that are very appropriate. So you will see those pop up during the presentation, and we will give you a minute or two to answer those, and we'll actually be tailoring the conversation based upon those. You can also, if you're a social media person and you know what Twitter is and you like Twitter, you can send tweets to @ColorMetrics and then use the hashtag ColorConvo. And Shelby will chime in and let me know what she sees there. She manages our Twitter channel, and she's always available. If you got questions about color, she'll either answer them or get you an answer. Does that all make sense, Shelby? Am I covering everything I'm supposed to before we jump in?
I apologize for being brief during introductions there. I was having a small technological problem because that always happens when we do webinars.
You're having a technological problem?
I'm back. I'm back now.
Oh, you're back. We lost you for a little bit there.
That's why I was brief.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was really brief. Sorry about that.
No wonder you were so quiet, because it's normally hard to get you to not talk. Oh, oops, did I say that out loud? Okay, so let's get this conversation started. So Shelby, I always like to start out with a question you hate. How did you find out about Google's Color Association research?
The only reason I hate these beginning questions is because I probably came up with this topic about 6 months ago, and I can't quite recall. but let's just say I probably Googled it. I know that's kind of lame, but that's really how it would probably happen.
That is pretty funny. So, and and just a reminder, what we're going to be doing in the webinar, if you haven't had a chance to read the article on our blog, don't go do it now because we want you to listen to us now. But you might want to do it after. There's some good information in the blog post itself, and then there's some links to the resources that Shelby used in her research to put the article together. So let's get into our.
I think this is where we have our first poll question, right?
Oh.
Nope. Go back.
This is where we have our first poll question.
Notes on this.
All right. Uh-oh, any sound. Someone is not hearing us. So if you're not hearing us, Carl, I guess I'm going to have to type to you. Let me just answer this gentleman really quickly. Oops. I can't answer for some reason. Interesting. There we go.
Well, I'm glad it's not just me.
No, it was me. So in general, people, if I'm gonna have to tell you that when there's sound problems, it's typically not us. Shelby and I can hear each other, so we know the sound is working. And when there's only one person out of several letting us know, it is something on your end. Check your volume, check your speaker connections, things like that. So, and if you don't believe me, listen to the recording later. Let's see. So I'm going to pop up a poll question here, which relates to the next slide, which some of you probably saw. So, all right. So our poll question is, what color are the walls in your doctor's office? So we'll give everyone a few seconds here to answer these. Let's see. Come on. If you don't know, you can tell us. It's okay. There we go. Now we've got a few people answering. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And it looks like probably just about everyone who was going to answer has answered. I appreciate your input. And I'm going to close the poll. And then I'm going to share the results. So 60% of you thought it was yellow and 40% thought it was white. We didn't have any don't knows. Well, in the article that Shelby wrote, I think you mentioned yellow walls, didn't you, Shelby?
Right, and here's my philosophy on it, just from personal experience, and I won't divulge why that is, but in general, your general practitioner's office, normally the walls are white or off-white, and I think that's just a neutral kind of thing. But if something is more serious, I notice the walls becoming yellow, pink. If we go to the oncologist, for example, something along those lines. And I think, well, we'll get into why that is. But.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny you mentioned that too. I've got some people in my extended family who live in a combination retirement community assisted living, and as I kind of think about it, there's a lot of those cream colored and yellow colored walls in that facility too. That's interesting. So, mm-hmm. All right. So I appreciate everyone's input on that one, giving us your answers, because your answers coincide with what we have found in our research as well. All right. So Google also did this color association research, which is a big part of the article. And they've already found a clear link between color and satisfaction with a person's work area. So I don't know the background of everybody who's joining us today on this webinar, but I know that both Shelby and I at some point in our career worked in, well, mine wasn't anywhere near this nice looking, but in a cubicle nation. So we basically had these little cubes that we were confined to, and this one's actually pretty nice because they can see, looks like most of them can actually see natural daylight with those windows around the outside. But you notice nobody's cube is pushed up against the window. You're not allowed to actually look out and see light. Yet the image below is actually one of Google's offices. I can't remember where it was, but I think it's somewhere in the UK or something like that. And notice, first of all, that they all have, there's no partitions, and they can see, they have sight lines to the windows. And the area with the beanbag where that gentleman is sitting, notice what color it is. It's yellow. His beanbag is kind of a lime green. So all of this color research is something that it would appear that they are actually putting into effect in their own operation. So
Yeah, I didn't even think about this before, Jim, but when my last experience of working in the cubicle nation, I worked for a company for about 7 years, and the first few years we were in a part of South Milwaukee in more of an industrial neighborhood. And our cubicles were gray, and they were high, and there weren't a lot of windows. The conference room was in the middle of the office with no windows, and it was all blocked off by walls, and the carpet was kind of like a steel blue. When we moved to the new location downtown Milwaukee, right on a park, everything in the office, the furniture was green and orange and yellow, brightly colored. Kind of reminded me of the Brady Bunch 70s area, but still brightly colored. Tile floors, bright white, lots of windows, and even the conference room, you could look right into it. It was all, even though it was in the middle of the office, it wasn't shut out. There were like 3 ways to get into it through glass doors, and it was glass all the way around, so it was almost like a fishbowl. But it really did make the atmosphere easier to work in.
Huh. Okay, that's
more pleasant, I should say.
Great. Did you have spectrophotometers to check what color yellow that was by any chance?
Yeah, right.
Well, as much as we laugh about it, I'm sure there's yellows that work better than other yellows. So it's I guess I'm curious how far that research is going, and I don't know, and now I kind of want to. All right. So another piece that you took away from that article, Shelby, was the color as a silent salesperson. And the quote that I picked up on, I don't know if this quote was in our article or from the article that I clicked on the link for, but it was basically when consumers make an evaluation of a product offering, they typically do this within 90 seconds, and I think that's on the long side. And more than half of their initial assessment is based on color alone. So I noticed that we do have some women in our audience today and some men. And we don't have a poll question for it, but my guess is that probably 100% of the women looking at this image know exactly what brand it is, and probably a good percentage of the men, maybe 50%, possibly more. So for those who don't know, this is Tiffany. It's a the jewelry store. It's a Tiffany box, and it's really the Tiffany blue aqua. I do notice that I've got 2 monitors here, so I've got a color calibrated ISO and my MacBook Pro. It's 2 very different colors on those monitors, but I could see either version of that and know that it was Tiffany. It's just that's such a distinct shade of color, and of course the white ribbon kind of does it. But and I think that anybody who knows that brand and sees that box, at least for me, my immediate thought is 2 things: quality and expensive. So that's just looking at the color, and notice the brand name's the brand name is nowhere to be seen. I intentionally cropped this so that you could in no way see a brand name, but yet we know what brand it is. I don't know. You want to add anything?
In my blog post, if you remember, I did just a really quick experiment with maybe a dozen people, so it wasn't real scientific or anything, just people I knew, people what I got in conversations with. I think I even asked your wife, Jim.
And me. You asked me. Yeah.
Did I ask you too? Okay. But it was, considering Starbucks, right? I said, what color is the Starbucks brand? And everybody said green or dark green, right? And then I said, what is the image in the logo of Starbucks? And only about half of them could come up with that. So the color resonated with people more than the actual logo.
Yep, absolutely. I remember, and I can't cite a source, unfortunately, anymore because it's been so many years since I used this example, but I just remembered it. There's in this day and age of just-in-time delivery and multiple supply chains reaching grocery store shelves simultaneously. If you walk down any aisle, and let's just take the cereal aisle or the paper towel aisle, those are 2 good ones. Those are some very distinct brand colors on some of those products. And a lot of times you could have 2 boxes of cereal. Let's just take a particular yellow, and I'm not going to say the brand, but you all know which one I'm thinking. We all ate them. They're little and round, and we love giving them to babies, and we love eating them as adults. But that particular yellow is very distinctive. but I can guarantee you that every box on the shelf, I can't guarantee it, I can just about guarantee that every box on the shelf was not printed in the same printing plant during the same print run, because that's just not the way that the supply chain works anymore. So you could have boxes on that shelf in a big store where they have a lot of square or a lot of shelf space. You could have boxes from 3 or 4 different press runs all next to each other. And if you want to talk about brand confusion, and I've witnessed it, sometimes one of those press runs is way off color, and you'll watch a consumer stand there and think it's a different flavor or something's wrong because the color has drifted so far from what it's supposed to be. So it tells you how important brand color can be to the consumer, not just to those of us who are quote unquote color geeks. So with that in mind, I think we have another poll question here, and this one is going to be asking you what one color is the main brand color of your company's logo. All right, so let me launch that up. I'm kind of thinking what my answer would be, Shelby, because the Colormetrics logo is a little colorful, but I do know what it would be. All right, I'm going to give you guys about half of you have answered. Pardon, Shel?
I think I know what you would say. I would hope.
I would say cyan, or approximately cyan. So, all right. Looks like everybody who's going to answer has answered. All right. Let me close the poll off. And let me show you the results. So what's interesting is these results are consistent with the next slide I'm going to show, and that is that vast majority of logos have black, and you can see that is our highest single answer. And if I remember correctly, and I'm going to share a link for in a moment, but it's black with accents of red, and then blue would be next, and other is just, that's naturally what you'd expect. That's where everyone else ended up, because GoToWebinar only gave me 5 choices. So that's why you ended up in other. It doesn't really mean we don't like your color. It just meant that that's all the choices we were given. So let's see what that means. All right. So if your logo is black, it says that you're creating a depth of perspective best for copy or design elements. Power, elegance, formality, authority. If you're wondering where these came from, this is I actually cropped off of a big infographic that I found on the Staples website. Actually, someone shared it to my Facebook page. I have just added that to the Colormetrics Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Colormetrics. And there'll be a link to that Facebook page, I think, on one of our slides here as we wrap up. So if you want to see the whole infographic, or you want to grab this information, just like our Facebook page, and this is the kind of stuff we share there. So I think the second color in our group was blue, right, Shelby? So, which I guess is where that's where Colormetrics would fit, since if you think about our logo, it's the word Colormetrics and basically cyan. We do have a lot of other colors in our logo, but that's the primary. So it has a calming effect, most popular brand color. And considering that our CEO is a little bit ADD and on edge sometimes, it's probably a good color for us. You've got depth, stability, intelligence, and precision. I look at those words and it's like I didn't plan on that, but I would sure think that I would hope that the stability and intelligence and precision are definitely something people would think about when they think about our software. So that's good. And unfortunately, anyone who answered other, if you want to type in what color that was in the question box, I'd sure appreciate it. We can always talk about 1 or 2 more colors here if someone can get something typed in. Oh, well, someone typed in Naples, yellow. Oh, I know what that was from, but so yellow stimulates mental activity, popular for attention-getting copy or leisure brands, cheerfulness, success, sunshine, and intellect. And I think that would gold fall under yellow, Shelby, you think, from the choices we've got here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then I mentioned that red's another popular color as an accent color with black. So it activates action, handy for prompting decision making, energy, urgency, danger, power, love. One last comment on this slide before we jump off. Anyone who's attended some of our other webinars, we talked quite a bit this year about color blindness. And if you remember correctly, it's blue is a color that most people who are colorblind can still see, and that's 9% of the male population is colorblind. So blue is still a really good color for those folks, and that's probably why it's one of the most popular brand colors, perhaps. And the colors that colorblind people sometimes can't see are red and green, and colors around that. So as much as we think green would be
I
a
like.
great, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say yes, absolutely. But I also like looking at this and saying green. Okay, what brand do I know it's green? Oh, Starbucks. Okay, so growth, money, freshness. All right, that makes sense. Orange, activity. Yeah,
Home
yeah. I like
Depot?
looking and seeing if it really fits. Yeah.
Well, Home Depot. So enthusiasm, success, happiness, and creativity, right? And
Right. Yeah.
every home improvement project starts with enthusiasm and happiness, and hopefully ends successfully. Oh, let's see. What's a purple logo? I can't think of one. Purple.
I can't either.
Well, that's I can think of a pancreatic cancer, power, nobility, luxury,
Yes.
wealth.
Yeah.
Uh, Crown Royal. Somebody said Crown Royal. Is that purple? Yeah, Crown Royal is purple. Yeah. FedEx. Yeah. Yeah, and FedEx. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
That's two good
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the interaction today, guys. It really does make our job easier. That's for sure. All right. So,
FedEx is a good one. I hadn't thought of that. Oh, you're supposed to put up a
oh,
poll question before that again.
all right. Well, we'll just put the poll question up now. I'm sorry. So, if you drink Coca-Cola, what's the color of your favorite flavor? I think most people knew it anyway.
Yeah, and we're not talking all the products. We're not talking about Sprite. We're talking
Right.
about actual Coca-Cola.
Well, we're talking about the four that they probably got a glimpse of before the poll questions went over them.
Right.
What's your favorite color, Shelby?
I used to drink silver,
Mm-hmm.
like it was going out of style. But now, if I have any, it's maybe one a week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I've switched to water.
Me too. Mine's silver too, though. My poison of choice is the silver one. All right. I think everyone who's going to answer has answered. Yeah, I think that's almost 100% there. So, wow, we've got a lot of regular Coke drinkers. We've got a few silvers and some don't drink
Did
Cokes.
you share the results?
Oh, now I did.
Thank you. That helps.
Yeah, I suppose people want to actually see those. So, a lot of Coke drinkers, about 2/3 of you, and then the other third is a combination of Diet Coke and they don't drink Coke. So I'm going to hide that, and I'm going to let Shelby talk about this slide because she found this one. Oh, unless we lost her. I can't hear her. All right. Did we lose her? Yes, we lost her. She's coming back in. So she did talk to me about the green can because I'm guessing some of you are wondering about that green can. And it's apparently only been released in a few select markets. And it is made with the sweetener stevia. So which is supposedly stevia. Sorry. I guess you're back. We lost you there again. Did you get disconnected?
No, I don't know what happened.
Oh, we couldn't hear you. But okay, so I was telling them about Coca-Cola Life,
Heard.
and but no, now
Stevia.
you wanted to include this slide because of the tweet that went with it, and you and I had a brief conversation, and I don't remember the whole significance of it, quite honestly.
Well, Coca-Cola has gone back and forth on their packaging over the years. A few years back, they decided to do a holiday can. So they did this nice little silver can with snowflakes and polar bears for their regular Coca-Cola. Well, the problem is that people were so used to walking into their grocery stores and grabbing the silver-looking packaging with the cans and assuming it was diet, and then they get it home and realize that it's not. They ended up having to pull all of that off the shelves before Christmas even. I don't even think it lasted a week.
I had some of those cans. It was confusing if you put them next. Well, I think you were here at that part. We had a party with a bunch of friends, and I think you were here. And we put the Diet Coke can next to the special Coke can, and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And it was very confusing. So it's good that they understand the importance of their brand color now, and not just the foreground color, the background color matters too. All right. Okay, so we've established that brand colors are very important, and this is where we're going to do a little commercial. So one of the big things that we do at Color Metrics is we help our clients maintain consistent, verifiable color. And we have multiple products for that. ProofPass is the one I always like to talk about. This is showing this particular slide showing a 54 patch control strip, which is designed more for 4-color process control or proofing, things of that nature. But you could also just put spot colors up there, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and they could be important brand colors. And you could measure them and determine what your color tolerance is in and out of spec, and you would get a pass or a fail. And I think back to that Tiffany box where it was one color on one of my monitors and another color on my other monitor. That's a really tough problem to solve in the consumer marketplace. There's people working on it, but let's not think about monitors. Let's just think about the combination of the bag. If you go to Tiffany's store and you buy something, there's going to be multiple pieces. There's going to be the little box, the little blue box. Typically, the box is going to get wrapped in Tiffany blue aqua paper. Then they're going to put that white bow around it, and then they're going to drop that whole thing in a shopping bag that's also that same aqua blue. And there might even be some aqua blue tissue paper in that bag. And it's really Tiffany's desire. Oh, and there might be a small label actually on the piece of jewelry that you purchase that should be the right aqua blue. And it's Tiffany's desire that every single one of those be the exact same blue. As someone who has occasionally bought things at Tiffany, they aren't always the same, and that's not good. I mean, it creates brand confusion, and it's not what the ultimate consumer wants. And we have tools to help the people in the supply chain make sure that it is the right color from start to finish, and it works just as well for the soft drinks we've been talking about, for adult beverages that came up today. Whatever brand color it is, the home improvement, whatever surface you're putting it on, whether it be a folding carton, a pop-up sign, the side of a truck, you name it, there are ways to measure it and make sure it's the right color. So, and that's it. That's the extent of the commercial you've got to listen to for all the free education we gave you. So let's jump on here. I did mention that I would share the link, because that was a really long link, for the color infographic earlier. The easiest way to get that is just go to facebook.com and then /colormetrics. And that it should be the most recent post, unless Shelby has decided to put something up since I started the webinar. And just a reminder that we are on Twitter at Colormetrics. You can always reach us by email. I know you can reply to the emails that come out as part of this webinar reminder, but you can also always send one to help@Colormetrics, and it will get to the right person. We've got a ticketing system there. And the website where you can find the blog post is just colormetrics.com, and then look for the blog link up in the upper kind of right corner of the page. And with that, anything you want to add, Shelby? Or obviously we'll open it up to questions.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, we made it through March, and we're going to start. I'm glad we didn't do this tomorrow, because I'm sure you and I would have played all kinds of practical jokes on each other for April Fool's Day. But thank you, everyone, for attending the March webinar. Unless we've got questions, we'll leave this open here for another minute or two. In the meantime, again, I'm going to thank everyone for joining us today. I know I see some names on this list that have joined us for almost every webinar I've done for the last 2 years. We really do appreciate that loyalty and your attendance. There's nothing we can say really to thank you except thank you. And I don't see any questions. So again, I do appreciate.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep, and I appreciate all the input through the question box today. It makes it more fun when we know you're talking back to us. But that's it. We're going to end the webinar, and we will. You're welcome, Jay. And we'll post the recording within a day or two.